The island of Jamaica is such a beautiful country and one of the best places to be in the Caribbean. But throughout the past few years, we have seen crime and violence being escalating out of control. Now, the US lists 8 Jamaican parishes Americans should avoid as it urges its citizens to consider travel to the Caribbean island in a level 3 advisory. Hi again and welcome. This is Links 007 TV Let's Talk, and we're about to discuss this on the program. If it's the first time you're watching, please remember to like, share, subscribe to the channel. Click the notification bell and click on all so you're always updated with our latest report. We'll be right back after this short break with the full details to come. Welcome back and thanks for joining us. This is Links 007 TV Let's Talk. This is the place where we discuss issues of national importance, global importance, or just issues that are buzzing in the news. So, what I want to talk about today on the program is an advisory that was issued from the United States, in which it lists 8 of the 14 Jamaican parishes that Americans should avoid traveling, especially when they are visiting Jamaica. Now, that is a cause for concern based on what we see going on around the world, and not only around the world, but as it relates to our local Caribbean island of Jamaica. But one thing I can't really understand, it seems as if they always single out Jamaica and make it seem as if Jamaica is this bad place and that you can't move about freely in the country. And with this being portrayed out there in the media, it make it seem as if Jamaica is a country in which visitors from overseas are not free to traverse the streets, or you're not free to walk in certain areas, or you're not just free as a tourist in the country, when it's merely not so. All over the world, you have crime, you have violence. However, Jamaica always seems to be singled out as one of those places that crime and violence is beyond control when it's merely not so. But I'm going to get into the actual article about this story and provide you with the latest we have in relation to this. But all I can say is that Jamaica is a wonderful place. It's a great country. The culture, the people, and just the general history that surrounds the country is a wealth of knowledge and one that the world wants to experience. And it's very sad to see that they have put in Jamaica in this light once more on the international scene, trying to portray Jamaica as if Jamaica is a place that only deals with violence and crime, when it's not so. We have our great music, we have our wonderful food, we have our nice beaches, we have our wonderful hotel, we have our wonderful sunshine, and don't forget the warm camaraderie of the Jamaican people. I'm not gonna say that we don't have crime and violence in Jamaica, but crime and violence is not a Jamaica thing. Crime and violence is a global problem that the world is faced with at current. So at times when they single out Jamaica, my land of my birth, I have to really go there and try to defend it to the best of my ability based on what I've been seeing portraying in the media about Jamaica, because Jamaica right now is at premier tourist destination around the world. And when we look on our grand tourism product that we have to offer to the world, and when these advisories are out, it make people reconsider or rebook their trips in visiting the country. But I just want to implore people out there that Jamaica is safe to visit, and you can visit Jamaica and you can visit and feel safe. Not gonna say you don't have to take certain precautionary measures just like you would in other countries of the world if you're visiting. But I'm gonna get into the details of what we really want to talk about today. But this is just so sad to see that they have put Jamaica into this limelight once more as it relates to this advisory that was issued recently. So the United States on Tuesday, May 31st, in a level 3 travel advisory urged Americans to reconsider visiting the Caribbean island and list 8 of the country's 14 parishes as increased risk due to crime. In fact, the advisory being issued just ahead of the summer travel season, the US had singled out the popular resort town of Montego Bay in St. James as an area to avoid due to a high level of crime in this area. Now, one can even begin to imagine how this and the impact that this will have on the tourism product of Jamaica, considering that Montego Bay St. James is one of the tourist premier hotspot of Jamaica. And this is not a good news to be actually reporting on right now, which is very sad. And we know how the crime situation stays in Jamaica. It has been escalating more and more. And even though the authorities are trying to put measures in place, still it's getting out of control, and we can understand that. However, you don't see visitors getting hurt from overseas, and that is what I really need to talk about a little bit. You don't see travelers really getting hurt from overseas, and I don't see why this is such a level 3 advisory make it seem as if visiting Jamaica put them at increased risk of getting hurt. So the parishes that Americans are told not to travel to include Clarendon, Hanover, Kingston and St. Andrew, St. Anne as well, St. Catherine, St. James and Westmoreland. Let me backtrack a little bit as well. St. Anne, another hot premier tourist destination in Jamaica, which you have Ocherius down that side as well in St. Anne, and this is also another area that is visited by a whole lot of tourists as well. So these are the areas that have been listed by America as areas to avoid, and these are some of the premier tourist hotspot: Montego Bay, St. Anne as well, Kingston and St. Andrew, parts of Clarendon, Westmoreland as well. These are the areas that have been listed by the United States. So I'm about now to divulge into the real details of what America is stating is likely to occur if you should visit these parishes or these areas on your visit. So it states that you're prone to violent crimes such as home invasion, armed robberies, sexual assault, and homicide are common. Sexual assault occur frequently, including at those exclusive resorts, according to the report, and also this was stated by the advisory. The advisory also added that local police lack resources to respond effectively to serious crime incidents, which is very sad as well. So the level 3 advisory also stated that emergency service vary throughout the island and response times may vary from US standards. I am not going to dispute the claim as it relates to the response time from emergency services and also the police, based on the lack of resources that the country is actually faced with in relation to that matter. But I believe that the government is doing its best at current in order to curtail the crime problem that is facing the country. And with this advisory, it's really an eye-opener for the government that more needs to be done in order to curtail the crime problem. Because once our crime problem is reaching on the international scene, where advisories have to be issued for people traveling to the country, that's a real cause for concern. According to the report, the homicide rate reported by the government of Jamaica had for several years been among the highest in the Western Hemisphere, the advisor continued. The advisor also provided a breakdown of areas in 8 parishes that U.S. government personnel are prohibited from traveling, to add in they are also prohibited from using public buses and also from driving outside of the prescribed areas of Kingston at night. So, among the trip advisories provided for U.S. citizens who decide to travel to Jamaica are: avoid walking or driving at night, avoid public buses, avoid secluded spaces or situation, do not physically resist any robbery attempt, and also to be aware of your surrounding and keep a low profile. So these are just some of the advisories that have been issued from the United States in order for citizens who are arriving in Jamaica and who just want to vacation in Jamaica as well. So this is a real cause for concern, and when you look on the breakdown of the crimes and the statistic provided by the government as well, this is actually a real serious problem that Jamaica is faced with at current, based on this advisory that has been published in the United States. So I'm going to recap some of the parishes that have been listed. So Clarendon is among it, Hanover, Kingston and St. Andrew, St. Anne, St. Catherine, St. James, and Westmoreland. And at current, I believe that these are the parishes that the country is actually facing some real crime situation that has been occurring over the past few years. But all I can say, Jamaica still remains a premier tourist destination. And wherever you are in the world, you're going to experience crime and violence. Crime and violence is not isolated to Jamaica, as crime and violence is a global problem that the world is facing at current. And one does have to just take the necessary precaution if you plan to visit Jamaica, and Jamaica will still and forever be a premier tourist destination. Well, this is where I believe I'm gonna leave this report though. Thanks for watching. This has been Links 007 TV. Let's talk. You can just drop it in the comment section. Let me know how you feel about this story. Thanks for watching.